Who will be nominated for Best Actor at the 2025 Academy Awards? Let's talk about it. Folks, thank you for joining me here on another episode of Oscar Talk. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, we're going to be diving deep into the Best Actor race. Like I said, we have 4 months, September, October, November, December, to really hone into this race and start forming our own Oscar predictions. This is not going to be an Oscar prediction quite yet. I'm going to share some names that should be on your radar over the next 4 months, the films that should be on your radar to watch over the next couple months to see and make sure that you're at the forefront of the Oscar conversation. This is going to be very interactive. So if you have any picks, early picks that you believe that are going to be nominated for Best Actor, make sure to drop them below in the comments. I'm so excited to talk about the Oscar season. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm going to share with you guys the names that are being talked about from across so many different websites, whether that's offscreencentral.com. Be sure to check it out. You can check out their link in the bio or link in the comments below. Next Best Picture. There's so many different fantastic websites that you can go to and get this information. And then on top of that, I'm going to share my thoughts on the race. And then, of course, I'm going to share some of my favorite performances of the films that I've seen so far for the Best Actor race. That being said, without further ado, let's start talking about this race, right? You know what I mean? There's so many different names that we can talk about, and I'm ready to dive into them because you know what? I'm excited. I'm excited to chat about this race. And you know what? There's a lot to get onto. You know, there's several different names that we've already seen in the conversation coming out of the award season. Obviously, some of the names that we have here, let me see if I can get this to zoom in a little bit more. There we go. We can see it a little bit better. I'll scroll down as we go. But one of the biggest names coming out of the festival circuit right now is The Brutalist and Adrien Brody's performance. Obviously, Adrien Brody, a former Oscar winner, for his performance. What was this performance for? I don't remember. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm having a brain fart, guys. Brain fart right now. But the pianist. Yes, for sure. The pianist. Duh. But apparently 22 years after his Oscar win, he's back in the conversation for his performance in The Brutalist. This film has been getting rave reviews. I mean, we're talking 3.5-hour film. 3.5-hour film. It's going to be interesting. Apparently, there is a intermission in between the film. For Brady Corbet just won the Best Director, the Silver Lion Award for Brady Corbet at the 81st Venice International Film Festival. I was looking at some results and some correlation, but it doesn't look like there's any correlation in winning Best Director and then being nominated to Oscars. But nonetheless, Adrien Brody has been talked about as one of the best performances of the year. Cannot wait to watch this film, even at that 3.5-hour runtime. Another name, also, by the way, The Brutalist just got picked up by A24. That's going to be interesting because, as you see, there's quite a few different films on this list right now that have A24's backing. That being the next performance I'm going to talk about, Colman Domingo in Sing Sing, a film that I'm really hoping gets more eyes, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? The film that has a fantastic career-changing performance for Colman Domingo. This guy is one of the hardest working actors we've seen. He's given out great performances in so many different films across his career. But Sing Sing, I'm hoping, because as you can see, like I said, you've got a different man for Sebastian Stan, Adrien Brody, Colman Domingo, Sing Sing. These films all have A24. And who do they, you know what I mean? Who do they shift that focus to? Who gets it? You know what I mean? That's the big thing of who gets all of their money. They don't have the pockets lined kind of like Netflix does. You know what I mean? So it's interesting to see how they're going to do this. Obviously, also another film that is listed under them is Queer by Daniel Craig's performance in Queer. That's another A24 film. So 4 performances here in that top 7. All from A24. Can they all lock in that nomination? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? That's definitely one of those interesting conversations that we have to have. But when it comes time, who do they divvy that money up to? Obviously, with all of the talk around The Brutalist and Adrien Brody, I definitely think that moves to the forefront. But Timothée Chalamet. Okay, so real quick, The Brutalist has no release date yet. Sing Sing was in theaters for a little time. I expect them to really boost this film, Maybe put it on VOD closer to maybe like November-ish, so more people get their eyes on it. But it's definitely a performance that I really hope more people get to see because he should definitely be nominated. Obviously, Timothy Chalamet, there's the complete unknown. And that's not just the name of the film that he's starring in, but that's just the complete unknown of this movie, right? Timothy Chalamet is a great, great actor. And the thing about it is what can he do? What can he do here, right? With this potential of being nominated in the conversation. Obviously, he was nominated for Best Actor for his performance in Call Me by Your Name. He's been nominated for a couple Golden Globes. But what does the complete unknown have in store for us? Obviously, the film is kind of amplifies the controversy surrounding the switch to electrical amplified instruments by Bob Dylan. The film is coming out on Christmas Day. I talked about this a little bit whenever we were talking about the Best Picture race, which you can pop up over to the YouTube channel to check that out. But one of the interesting elements of this film is they're going to have to push this film out to critics, to the Oscars and stuff like that, because the Christmas release, there's a lot of nominate a lot of voting bodies that end early in the season. So they're going to have to get this in front of people. So when that happens, whenever that happens, that's when we're going to know whether or not this is going to be a contender or not. But Chalamet, James Mangold, you can't really count them out at all. Sebastian Stan and A Different Man. This is a film coming out on September the 20th in theaters that I cannot stop thinking about since I saw the film. There's just so many layers to this performance. There's so many layers to this film that I really hope that it captures the audience's attention. They really understand the thematical layers of this film. It's just so man, I don't want to really talk too much about it. Aaron Schimberg wrote and directed this film. There's so much to love about this film, and there's so much that I want to talk about, but I don't want to dive too deep into it. But it's a considered a black comedy / psychological thriller. It's deep, it's dark, it's intense, it's insane. I'm just consistently thinking about this film ever since I see it. Sebastian Stan not getting a nomination for this performance would just absolutely be insane. Conclave, a film that is coming out of the Telluride Film Festival with a lot of chatter. Edward Berger, known for his film, directing All Quiet on the Western Front, directed this film starring Ralph Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow. The film is about Cardinal Lawrence tasked with finding a successor to the deceased pope, discovers the former pope had a secret that must be uncovered. Fiennes' performance has been ranted and raved about. It's got currently sitting at 100% of Rotten Tomatoes. 11 critics are positive with an average rating of 7.9 out of 10. Many people were talking about the best thing about this film is Fiennes' performance. So, Fiennes is definitely one of those actors that has been around for quite a while. Let me see here. He's gotten 2 Academy Award nominations in the past. So it'll be interesting to see if he can grab that 3rd nomination. But yeah, I am interested to see this film. He got a nomination, last nominated in 1997 for Best Actor for The English Patient, and then of course Best Supporting Actor in 94 for Schindler's List. So Conclave is definitely a film that should be on everybody's radar. It is a film that is coming out in the United States on November 1st by Focus Features. I cannot, again, a lot of these films I haven't seen yet, really ready to get my eyes on. Another film I'm ready to get my eyes on is that Queer movie by Luca, my man. And then, of course, Justin Krasinski's, Nope, not going to say it. Justin Krasinski's working with Luca again after they worked together on Challengers. Not a big fan of that film, but it's nonetheless, here we are. This is based on the 1985 novel William S. Burroughs, set in 1940s Mexico City, following an outcast American expat, Daniel Craig, who becomes to be infatuated with a younger man who plays Drew Starkey. This premiered at the 81st Venice Film Festival. The critic conversation surrounding this has been kind of high and low. 77% on Rotten Tomatoes with 30 critics in. That's not high. Per se, a lot of people have talked about Daniel Craig's performance in the film, but again, one of the biggest question marks is going to be going into this film is what are they going to do about all of these guys under one umbrella fighting for an Oscar, right? You have Daniel Craig, Daniel Craig, Sebastian Stan, Coleman Domingo, Adrian Brody, all in the conversation for Best Actor, all A24 films. So do they focus on just one or two of these guys, or do they just try to go balls to the walls and get as many nominations as possible? But another film, it doesn't quite have a release date yet, but it'll be in the near future, obviously before the end of the year, to be nominated for an Oscar. The next performance we're going to talk about is Paul Mescal in The Gladiator, a film, again, kind of like The Complete Unknown. It is a complete unknown right now. We have no clue when this movie's going to, what this movie's going to do. And the film is set to come out here on November 22nd. So right around the time, the thick of the award season. I talked about this in the Best Picture conversation, but Mescal's performance in Aftersun was critically acclaimed. Could he kind of capture the same magic that Russell Crowe did in the first Gladiator? We also have Pedro Pascal in this film, Joseph Quinn, and then, of course, Academy Award winner Denzel Washington in the forefront. Nobody knows whether he's going to be supporting or in lead actor, but I really think a lot of people are kind of fixated on the idea he's probably going to be in the best supporting actor category. With that being said, again, unknown right now. Gladiator 2 of the film so far, this is the only film so far that has not been released for anybody to see. So once that is released, then we can get a better idea of where we're going to go from there. But a strong film nonetheless. You have Ridley Scott involved, and you have a lot of ancillary pieces. So this is going to play well in front of people as long as it is very good. Nickel Boys. This is another film in the conversation right now. Ethan Heresy. This film debuted at the 51st Telluride Film Festival. Is scheduled to have a limited release in the limited theatrical release on October the 25th. It's set in the Jim Crow era of Tallahassee, Florida. A young African-American, Elwood Curtis, is falsely accused by the cops of being accomplice of stealing a car. He is sent to segregated reform school called Nickel Academy, a fictionalized version of Dozer School for the Boys. While there, he forms a close relationship with a boy named Turner as they try to survive the abuse by the school and corrupted administrators. Ethan has been raved about his performance in the film. Film sits at 82% right now on Rotten Tomatoes. Metacritic, it's a little bit higher. It's got the 86 out of 100 based on 6 critics. It's indicating a universal acclaim right now. There has been some difference of opinions, obviously, on this that don't like the story structure there. Carly Renetti from The Wrap said that the score, the casting, and the performances are very, very good. And then, of course, IndieWire's David Erlach gave the film an A score, which is very, very high from him. Somebody that's very hard in film. So Ethan being in the conversation is amazing. You see some of the heavy hitter names. We love to see names that you've never heard of before, or you know of, but are ready to be jumping in the forefront against these heavy hitters. Obviously, another film that we got to talk about is The Piano Lesson. Is that the next film on my list here? Yes, it is. John David Washington in The Piano Lesson, a film that I am so excited to see. Danielle Deadwyler is also having some chatter about the Best Actress conversation, which is something we'll talk about on another episode. Set in 1936 Pittsburgh during the aftermath of the Great Depression, The Piano Lesson follows the lives of the Charles family in Doker Charles household and heirloom, the family piano, which is decorated with a design carved by an enslaved ancestor. This film had its debut at the Mill Valley Film. It's going to have, it's going to be at the world premiere was at the Telluride Film Festival. The Piano Lesson is scheduled to hit select theaters on November 8th before streaming on Netflix on November the 22nd. I could have sworn we did have some reviews for this. Let's see what we got here. 76%. No, that's not it. Here we go. All right, it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes currently right now, with 13 reviews in. Let's see here. Robert Daniels, fantastic critic, Deadweiler is the heart and soul of this film, whose every inch is deeply felt. Cara Renetti, we talked about a few minutes ago, she said the performances will resonate. The piano lesson is a lesson of love, friendship, and family. Lots of great reviews here. Dangling Deadwire being like the most talked about here, obviously being left off for her performance in for Till. Apparently, she's going to make them pay for that conversation by delivering a performance of a lifetime in piano lesson. So very excited to check that film out. Definitely a high on my list of wanting to see that. Another interesting film that I keep on seeing in the conversation, obviously Sebastian Stan, another film performance, is The Apprentice. The film was recently picked up and is scheduled for an October 11th release date. I think it was picked up by Briarcliff, I believe. Yeah, I think it was recently purchased by Briarcliff. Let's see here. Am I right? Yep. Briarcliff, it's going to be released in the United States by them. The film's premise set in the early days of Trump's business career. The film focuses on a relationship between Trump and Roy Cohn, a New York City prosecutor known for working with Senator Joseph McCarthy during the Second Red Scare. Sebastian Stan is playing Donald Trump, Jeremy Strong as Roy Cohn, Marie Bakova as Ivanka Trump, Martin Donovan as Fred Trump. The reception so far, 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. The web, it's kind of, instead of cross-examining its subject, The Apprentice gives Sebastian Stan the chance to shine a simplistic yet entertaining foray into the world of young Trump. Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued, I guess you could say, because of the subject matter. Obviously, it's something that I think definitely needs to be talked about because of its release, because of the conversations that are being surrounded, some of the things surrounding it. Obviously, the performances are being talked about. Sebastian Stan's name's being thrown out for this film across so many different websites right now. So it's somebody that you need to have an eye out for. But yeah, I can't wait to check out this film. October 11th is not that far out. So I'm very, very interested in it. And then the last performance we're going to talk about is Joaquin Phoenix for Joker 2. The reviews for this have not been great. But at the same time, let's be real, the reviews for the original weren't all that great. It had a great divide amongst it. It's currently sitting right now at, what do we got? Rotten Tomatoes is currently marketing release. Is sitting at 61% on Rotten Tomatoes with 44 positive reviews. I'm going to check out the original Rotten Tomatoes score. See, it's 69%. Not much higher there, and that's more critics coming in with that. Obviously, this is 44 critics right now. Similar to, let's see here. It's very polarizing across the board. Pete Hammond from the Deadline Hollywood said felt the film was brilliant. Let's see here. David Ehrlich gave it a very scathing, said the bad and flat. Hollywood Reporter said the film was frustrating. Robbie Collin of the Daily Telegraph both echoed the similar thoughts. The use of Gaga, while the former enjoyed Phoenix in much more contained turn, a welcome change to those put off the constant, annoying, loud cackling that permitted much in the previous installment. So, yeah, definitely interesting. At the Venice Film Festival, Hildur won for her score for Soundtrack Stars Award again, September 7th, 2024. So that's awesome for her. I love her. Her score in the first film was majestic. But I will say this. I didn't expect Joaquin to come back into the conversation again like he did a few years ago for Joker, the original. This is one of those films that I didn't feel like needed a sequel. I'm kind of mad we got a sequel, but I'm definitely excited for the film because I love the original film. And before we go, though, I'm going to talk about a few performances. These are my personal picks so far of who I like. These are the films that I've seen so far. Still, by far, the best performance I've seen of the year is Timothée Chalamet in Dune Part 2. I still think this film resonates with me so much, and this performance was electric. It was just this profound turn from start to finish, especially coming from somebody that didn't love the first film. I wish that more people would talk about this film. I think the early release might hinder the film, but I definitely think that he belongs in the conversation for now. Again, haven't seen everything quite yet, but it's definitely something. I forgot to put Coleman Domingo on here. I'm an idiot. It's definitely a conversation that needs to be talked about. Andre Holland, Exhibiting Forgiveness. This film's coming out in October. This performance means so much to me. I saw it at the Sundance Film Festival. I'm seeing it again at the Nashville Film Festival. I cannot rant and rave. Like, I cannot just scream from the rooftops how I wish films like this would get more eyes on them because it deserves it. This film was magical. It's one of my favorite films of the year. It should belong in the conversation for best supporting or best actor. It should be in the conversation for best screenplay. This is the type of film that's not going to get that type of love, but it deserves it 1000%. Sebastian Stan, A Different Man, said a lot about that earlier. Jesse Eisenberg's A Real Pain, another film that's not getting enough credit. I do think that Kieran Culkin is definitely going to be nominated as supporting actor, and we'll talk about that another day. But Eisenberg's script, I hope, is nominated as well. Just oh my God, what a fucking film that one is. Just heartbreaking and all of that in between. Josh Hartnett's performance in Trap, didn't love the film. Definitely a conversation needs to be surrounded about why this man deserves to be nominated, because it is his performance made this film what it is. And of course, Coleman Domingo, Sing Sing. Just I brain farted on Coleman Domingo, even though he's at the top. Again, Coleman Domingo, he's definitely in my 1-2. It's really, for me right now, Chalamet, Holland, Stan, Domingo, Eisenberg. Those are my 5 right now from the films that I've seen. What movies have you seen so far that you think that belong in the best actor conversations? Name me some of the actors that you think should be nominated that probably won't be nominated. I want to know those too. What do you guys think of the best actor race? Let me know in the comments below, and next episode we'll be tackling the best actress. Thank you for tuning in, guys, and we'll talk soon.